Good morning, class. Today we're going to teach our human companions how to use a clicker.
Welcome again. Thanks to your overwhelming support on the first Bow Wow video, we're back with some great new tricks like these for you and your pet. And thanks to clicker training, dogs have never been happier working with their human partners. It's a wonderful sight when your dog responds with such enthusiasm. There's no mistaking that sparkle in their eyes. Best of all, clicker training works. The dogs learn quickly and we all have fun. This video is going to show you some clever and challenging tricks. You may even get your dog to lend a helping paw around the house. We've also included some special skills to help dogs assist people with disabilities. With hard work and a little luck, you may even find some advertising, television, or film work for your talented canine.
Please stop this fussing. I am the natural beauty. I do not do toilets.
Now it's time to reintroduce our Bow Wow stars. Gabriel, still a most serious cheesehead. Charlotte, the canine metronome. Tembisa, our little red pony. La Miette, all grown up and a self-appointed princess. And let's hear it for our special guests. Cassie, Sierra, Carly, Penny, Blaze, Haley, and Lenny. To get the most from this video, you should already be comfortable with clicker training. You may have learned it from our first video or from another clicker training source. Just in case you're feeling a little bit rusty, let's do a quick review of the clicker basics. We trust your dog has already learned that the sound of the clicker means a wonderful reward will follow. Rewards can include treats, toys, playtime, and praise, whatever is meaningful to your dog. The clicker allows us to efficiently mark good behavior the exact moment it occurs. When teaching a new skill, we click each time we get a good response and follow it with a treat. As the dog learns a new behavior, we gradually fade away the use of clicker and treats. You might find it helpful to review the tricks from our first video, especially push and pull, because we'll be building on those later in the video. Speaking of which, let's get busy. Cross your paws. This is an easy trick to teach, and it looks really cute. Start by refreshing your dog's paw giving from a sit. Now have him lay down. Ask your dog to give you his paw and hold your hand right in front of him. Click and reward a bunch of times for him simply raising his paw and placing it in your hand. Training will be much easier if you only click and reward him for raising the same paw each time. Your dog may show a preference for one paw. If so, go with that one. Gradually move your hand closer to the dog's other foot, so he must now lift his paw and move it sideways in order to place it in your hand. Because you are always presenting your hand the same way, you can gradually drop the verbal cue. The hand signal should be sufficient. You may notice that as you place your hand closer to the other paw, many dogs will try giving you that one instead. Just pull your hand away and ignore these responses. When your dog can easily target your hand when it is on the far side of his other paw, start pulling your hand away at the last second. Now his paw will land on top of the other leg in a crossed position. Click and reward promptly. Gradually fade your hand signal so it is further away from the dog. When he is performing reliably, add your command. You may choose to say cross or try something unique like be elegant. Practice until your dog can easily cross his paws even when you are a distance away. We've noticed some dogs may pay better attention to your hand if you hold a treat. Try this if your dog seems inattentive. Other dogs may become too excited with a treat in front of them, so experiment. Turning the TV on and off. This trick can really come in handy, and it will also fine-tune your dog's touch command for other tricks on this video. Now, I bet you're saying, everybody has a remote control these days. Who needs the dog to turn the TV on or off? Well, certain people seem to misplace the remote, especially when they're already settled in for the night. Now your faithful canine can turn off the TV for you. Better yet, You can teach your dog to find and bring the remote to you. This training is geared toward TV sets that have the same push button for on and off. You'll probably want to add a little extension piece to this button so the dog's nose won't touch any nearby buttons. A short piece of dowel can be glued to the button. We also found small, inexpensive wooden pieces at a craft store that work well. If you don't want to use glue, try some tacky material. The extension will be easier to dislodge, but it only takes a second to press it back into place. If your dog is rusty on the touch command, or tends to be very sloppy or wild when touching the object, you may want to begin training using the tip of a dowel. Only click and reward calm, centered touches on its tip. When your dog is doing this well, you're ready to move on. Now point to the button, use your touch command, and click and reward whenever you get a good response. Try to focus your attention on the dog's nose and how he positions it on the button. Don't worry if the TV actually turns on or off. It's more important that he learns to position his nose properly. The needed pressure will come easily after that. Gradually raise your standards. Your dog needs to learn to be gentle and precise about hitting the button straight on. As he becomes reliable, start adding a new command, such as TV. Move further from the television until your dog can perform this skill when you give the command from across the room. You'll notice that with a little ingenuity, you can even attach an extension to a TV with tiny buttons. If you have a small dog and your TV is within reach, he'll have better luck turning the TV on and off using a paw instead of his nose. Turning the lights on and off. This is an important skill for dogs that assist the disabled. It can also be a handy trick for just about anyone. Thanks to this simple, extended light switch design, dogs of any size can easily switch the lights on and off without having to jump up and scratch your walls. If you're handy, design your own extension or order one of ours. Information for ordering is at the end of the video. We will begin with the lights on portion of this trick. Keep in mind that the finished behavior we want is the dog's nose centered underneath the light switch extender, followed by a smooth upward movement that turns the light on. To start, point to the extender's base and tell your dog to touch.
Nice.
At first, you can even wedge a treat behind the base if needed. Click and reward performances that are calm and steady. Gradually select nose positions beneath the base. Don't worry if the light actually turns on just now. Click and reward improved, centered performances. Weed out wild or sloppy ones by not rewarding them. Also discourage any paw use. When your dog is able to turn the light on reliably, add a verbal command, such as light. It's important for your dog to learn that he will only be rewarded for turning the light on when you ask him to do this. Move away from the light switch little by little. Practice until your dog can easily move across the room and turn the light on when you give the command. During separate training sessions, you can now start teaching your dog how to turn the light off. The training is about the same, except that you will now select a nose position above the base piece, accompanied by a downward nose movement. Pointing out the area you want your dog to target should help him to get started. Click and reward whenever his nose is somewhat positioned in the correct area. Ignore or gently discourage unwanted nose movements. Gradually choose improved performances to click and reward. When your dog is reliable at turning the light off, add a verbal command to the beginning of the training sequence, such as dark. Now you will need to start practicing both the light and dark commands in random order. We want the dog to be clear on the differences in nose motions for both of these commands. At first, if your dog is a little confused or overzealous, it might be helpful for you to point out the area you want him to touch. Some small dogs may appear to have trouble moving the base up to turn on the light. If so, try putting a thin treat behind it, using some peanut butter to glue it in place. Now encourage him to get the treat, only allowing him to work at it from beneath the base.
Job. Try again. Push. Push. Wow.
For turning the light off, we suggest you encourage him to use his paw.
Good.
Teaching the retrieve. Of all the tricks on this video, the retrieve has the most potential to impress and is also the most useful. Retrieving is an essential skill for many service dogs, and your own dog can have fun doing chores for you around the house. This skill could also make your dog more marketable for TV and film work if you're really lucky. We're presenting this trick for two reasons. First, we want to help people who own retrieving maniacs to get control of the various skills so the behavior is more functional. Second, we want to help those of you with non-retriever dogs, the ones who think carrying something is about as much fun as having their toenails clipped too short. The retrieve behavior is actually made up of several components: taking an object into the mouth, holding it for a period of time, holding the object and moving somewhere with it, and letting go of it. To have an excellent retrieve, you really need to teach each of these behaviors separately. Otherwise, the whole sequence can fall apart. For instance, what happens when your retrieving maniac doesn't like the texture or weight of the object you ask him to carry? How will he be able to get you a beer from the fridge if he doesn't want to carry a cold, heavy metal can? Or what if you want your dog to just sit still and hold something in his mouth? Lots of dogs would think that is totally dull compared to running around with it. So how will you get your dog to pose nicely with a cute prop in his mouth for the next photo shoot? Let's get started with the first skill, teaching the dog how to take an object. If you have a non-retriever, choose an easy-to-hold item like a wooden dowel. Present the item to the dog, but don't push it against his mouth. At first, it's very important to click and reward even minor interest, such as a sniff or touch. He may not open his mouth right away and take it, so build up to this patiently. Just be sure to click the exact second your dog makes contact with it. Gradually start holding out for harder bumps. This will happen when your dog sees that gentle touches no longer get rewarded, and he'll bump it harder in frustration. Next, start holding out for slight mouth opening behaviors. Continue to click and reward. The first time your dog takes the item into his mouth, instantly click and offer a jackpot of treats. Continue practicing until he readily takes an item in his mouth for a second. Gradually, begin delaying the click and reward, just seconds at first, so he learns to hold on to it longer. When the dog willingly opens his mouth and takes the object each time you present it, add a new command, such as take. Continue practicing and get the dog to stretch just a little bit in order to reach and take it. Gradually, make him reach further in various directions, including toward the ground. Here are a few final pointers. Pay special attention to your clicker timing. The click must occur when the object is taken by the dog, not when he is spitting it out. When you feel your dog is ready for the next challenge, start practicing the take with different items. Keep your training sessions short and fun, always ending on a successful note. If your dog plays wildly with objects in his mouth, pick an item to take that's not much fun and not easily damaged. A metal spoon, for instance. If your dog has an active jaw, your clicker timing is very important. The click must occur during the nanosecond when he is holding the object quietly instead of throwing it around in his mouth. With practice, you'll be able to get the dog to quietly hold the object longer before you click and reward. Even active jaws can learn to hold things calmly, which comes in handy when your dog has to hold more delicate things like mail. Now your dog should be taking the object reliably on command and holding it for a few seconds. When you see he can do this, it's time to add a new command, such as hold. Gradually build up the time your dog is required to hold the object before clicking and rewarding. Try giving the take and hold commands when your dog is sitting, standing, and even laying down. When he is doing this well, encourage him to move just a step or two while holding the object. If your dog has mouthy tendencies, this behavior may resurface when he's in motion. Remember to watch his mouth closely so you can click and reward only calm holding. Continue practicing the hold until your dog can easily walk with you across the room, holding it steadily in his mouth. Up to this point, your dog has been getting clicks and treats for taking and holding. When offered the treat, he naturally drops the object without a thought. However, it would be wise to actually teach him a drop command so he officially knows when to let go. Start by asking your dog to take and hold an object. After he has held it for a few seconds, bring your palm up to the dog's mouth. Many dogs will naturally let go. The instant he spits it out, click and then give him a treat. If he is reluctant to release the object, hold a treat in your hand the first few times as incentive to drop it. Stop using this bribe as quickly as you can. Continue to click and reward your dog for dropping the object when you raise your palm to his mouth. When he can do this reliably, add a new command, such as drop or thank you. We now have the basic components for an actual retrieve. Let's try linking them all together and see what we get. Toss a familiar object a short distance and encourage him to take it. If he needs extra help, point out the object or tap it briefly. Once he picks it up, encourage him to carry it toward you. When he arrives, tell him drop, then click and reward. Be sure to choose different aspects to reward. Sometimes click when he dashes to the object and promptly picks it up, or click him for carrying it nicely. This allows you to selectively reward certain parts of the performance that he did well. It also helps your dog to see that all aspects are important and prevents sloppiness. To perfect the retrieve, practice with the following goals in mind. Your dog should learn to retrieve many types of objects at varying distances. Practice indoors, outdoors, and in new areas. He should also retrieve objects laying on the floor when you point them out. Once your dog has a strong understanding of retrieve, some wonderful skills can develop from here. Let's begin with cleaning up toys and throwing away garbage. Both of these tricks require the same basic skills. In fact, they're really retrieves, except instead of bringing it to you, the dog will learn to bring the object to a different location. If we break up clean up your toys into smaller components, you will see that the dog must be able to pick up a variety of toys off the floor, move with the toy in his mouth to the target location, drop the toy at the target location. You may be surprised to learn that it is best to practice these skills in reverse order, then link them together. So let's begin with the last step, dropping a toy at the target location. Position your dog right in front of his toy box. Tell him to take and hold a toy for a couple seconds. Then use your drop command. Click and reward when the toy is dropped. At first, it really doesn't matter if the toy misses the box. If you want to help the dog to be more accurate, try pointing to the box. As you practice, you can become more selective about clicking and rewarding toys that land closer to the target. Eventually, just reinforce direct drops into the toy box. When your dog can do this well, add a new command like clean up. Now we will make it a little more challenging by having the dog move with the toy in his mouth to the target location. Hand the toy to your dog when you are only a short distance from the box. Tell him, clean up. If he needs a little extra help, point out the toy box or walk toward it with him. Click and reward. Fade away your assistance as quickly as possible. When he can easily move on his own to drop the toy in the box, gradually add more distance. Practice with a variety of toys. Finally, place a toy on the floor right next to the box. Tell him, clean up. If he needs a little help at first, point out the toy to him. Click and reward when he is successful at dropping this toy into the box. Gradually add more distance. Challenge your dog to work harder for the click and reward by having him clean up 2 or 3 toys, maybe even 10 if you happen to have a spoiled dog with lots of toys. Throwing away garbage requires the same training sequence as cleaning up toys, except your dog will be carrying stuff like crumpled paper instead of a toy, and the target location will be a garbage pail instead of a toy box. When you're teaching this, be sure to watch out for that clever canine who tries to withdraw another type of goodie from the pail after depositing the piece of garbage. Be sure you click precisely when the dog releases the garbage into the pail. Then immediately draw his attention back to you for a delicious treat, so he will be less likely to hover over the pail in search of goodies. Otherwise, use a pail with a swinging lid. More variations on this trick include carrying a message from one family member to another, depositing recyclable items into the appropriate bins, bringing an empty dog food bowl over to the sink. Be creative and come up with your own variations. Getting a drink from the refrigerator. Those of you who saw our first Bow Wow video may remember seeing this trick highlighted briefly. Since most people like this one so much, we've decided to officially teach all the steps to this trick. In fact, some of the skills your dog will need were thoroughly covered in the first video. Let's break down this trick into simple components. The dog must learn how to go to the refrigerator and open the door, pick up a drink off the shelf, move around to the other side of the door while holding the drink, close the door, and carry the drink to his owner. Let's get started. We'll be training in reverse order. So the first skill we want to review is taking, holding, and carrying a soda can, plastic drink bottle, or a juice box. If your dog is reluctant to hold this, start with an empty container. Click and reward good responses. If your dog has a particularly strong bite, and you're afraid he'll hurt himself on a soda can, spend plenty of time working with him on gentle holds. If you're using a plastic bottle, you may want to pour some liquid out of it to reduce its weight. Continue to click and reward simple holding behaviors. Progress to a full drink container when your dog is ready. If you're using a can, it's a good idea to start with seltzer. That way, if your dog does puncture the can with his teeth, at least the resulting shower of liquid is non-staining and easy to clean up.
Got it? No, not that one. Take it. Hold it. Got it. You got it. Good. Hold it. Very good.
Make sure he can carry it around for a while without dropping it. If your dog never masters this, you won't find this trick very helpful, because who wants to open up a can that arrives pre-shaken? The door closing skill is next. Start by refreshing your dog's push command without him holding the drink in his mouth. Position him at the outer side of the fridge door and use your push command. Click and reward him for successfully closing the door.
Wow, that was excellent. Take it.
Next, have him hold the drink in his mouth and tell him to push. Click and reward good responses. Practice until he can easily close the door while holding the drink. Now we have to teach the dog to maneuver around the door. Have him hold a drink. Encourage him to move around to the outer side of the door. Gradually decrease your assistance until he learns to move around the door by himself. When he can easily do this, add a command such as go around. Next, set the beverage on the bottom shelf of the fridge. Be sure to remove any nearby temptations. While you hold the door open, point to the drink and tell your dog to take it. Now would be a good time to introduce a new command, such as get me a drink. Finally, we need to refresh our dog's door opening skills. Make sure the strap you put on your refrigerator is at an easy level for your dog to reach and is made of comfortable material. If he does not pull vigorously right away, keep the fridge door slightly open. Click and reward him for pulling in the correct direction and getting the door to swing open. Eventually, you'll have him pull when the door is completely closed. Give the dog lots of encouragement so he gets excited and applies enough pulling strength to get the door open. On his first success, be sure to give him a jackpot of treats. Some dogs are so enthusiastic that the door swings open too hard and then immediately rebounds and closes on them. Catch the door yourself if this starts to happen, so he doesn't get spooked. If you have a dog like this, work with him in a very calm tone of voice. Also, you can prevent excessive pulling by clicking the instant the door just opens. Then immediately encourage him to take the treat so he doesn't keep pulling. Remember to remove the strap from the fridge when not training so your dog isn't tempted to help himself to some goodies when he's alone. Now, if you've taken your time training each of these separate skills, you should be ready to link them all together. Let's coach the dog through the whole process. Start with your pull command to get the dog to open the door. Once the door remains in the open position, tell your dog to take the drink, pointing it out if necessary. Next, encourage him to go around to the other side of the door. Tell him to push so he closes the door. Have him deliver the drink to your hands.
Good
Sometimes
girl.
click and reward at the very end of this training sequence.
Good.
Other times, if you see that one portion of this trick is done exceptionally well, click and reward then. This will help to keep all of the skills strong. When your dog can perform this whole chain of skills smoothly, introduce a command at the beginning of the sequence to name this entire behavior, such as, "Get me a drink." Gradually fade away your verbal assistance until he can perform it flawlessly with just the one command.
Cass, did you have a cold?
Scent discrimination. Have you ever noticed how extraordinary the dog's sense of smell is? It's so much better than ours that it almost appears magical. We have wisely put their noses to work in ways that have been of great benefit to us. Search and rescue work, narcotics and bomb detection, to name just a few. Your own canine would probably enjoy some scenting challenges too. Whether you compete in obedience trials or just want a great new trick to show off, we have some tips to make this training easier. You may have guessed that your dog is totally capable of discriminating between different smells already. We don't have to teach him that. We just need to get him to use this innate skill under our direction. First, let's establish a new behavior. Hold your hand right up next to your dog's nose. When you see and/or feel him sniff briefly at it, click and reward immediately. Try not to click if he licks your hand. This sniffing inspection is a natural dog behavior when something first appears in front of his nose. Sometimes hold novel objects up to his nose for inspection, always clicking and rewarding him when he sniffs at it. Keep your training sessions very short. When you see your dog doing this reliably, add a new command, such as scent. Now we're ready to work with a scented article. Pick one up and rub your hands on it for a few seconds. This will basically be a retrieve to your dog, except with one addition. Before you send him to pick up the article, have him sniff your hand first. Click and reward a few times for good retrieves. Next, use a pair of tongs to place an unscented but identical article on the floor. Take the scented article and position it closer to you and the dog. Have him sniff your hand, then send him off to pick up the article. Most dogs will pick up the item that is closest to them, although they may notice the other one on the floor. If he picks up the scented article, click instantly. Of course, the dog is not scent discriminating yet. Just keep practicing. Change the positions of the articles, maybe reducing the distance between both items, but still keep the scented one closer. Gradually start fading the take command and use a new command like find it. When you see your dog is happily retrieving, you decide when you want to position both articles at equal distances. Your dog now has a 50% chance of choosing the wrong article. Start with the same sniff of your hand, tell him to find it, and see what happens. If the dog shows interest in the unscented article, try gently discouraging that choice. If he then looks at the other object, encourage him to find it. Click the instant he picks up the right one. If you don't want to use any minor verbal discouragement, just allow the dog to bring you the wrong article without any comment or click. If sheer silence is too devastating to your sensitive pooch, tell him quietly, "Oh well, let's try again." Use the tongs to place it on the floor again and start the exercise all over. Be patient. After a number of practice sessions, the light bulb will suddenly go on. Oh, she prefers I pick up the one that smells like her. Jackpot. Have a party.
Very good. All right.
Of course, practice many more times. Change the article's positions so there's no pattern for your dog to figure out. When he consistently chooses the scented article, you'll know he's catching on to the game. Now, use tongs to place another unscented article on the floor. If the dog is really using his nose, an extra item shouldn't confuse him. Gradually add more unscented items, so he has to make a careful inspection in order to find the scented article. After your dog makes the correct selection, gently encourage him to move a little toward you before clicking and rewarding. Eventually, he should bring the item all the way to you before the click and reward. Gradually fade the verbal encouragement. Remember, if he makes the wrong choice, just ignore and try again. In between training sessions, allow the articles to air out overnight. Your scent won't be totally eliminated, but your dog will learn to pay attention to the article with the most recent, strong scent. If you decide to purchase the scent sticks we use, you can wash them after each use. The scent sticks make it easy to practice scent discrimination with many novel odors. For instance, you can sprinkle a bit of spice or spritz of perfume on a napkin, then roll it up and put it inside the stick. Remember, before you send the dog to find it, hold the matching scent up to his nose so that he understands what to look for.
Girl, sit. Good. Let's try again. Can you scent? Go ahead. Scent? Oh, good. Good girl. Okay, can you go find it? That was the one. Very good. Good job.
You could also teach your dog to pick out the scent of another person. Remember, when the exercise begins, we hold up the matching scent that we want the dog to go find. Your dog may be a little confused at first because he's only had to search for your scent. But with practice, he can learn to identify other people as well. Anytime you change an aspect of the training, make it as simple as possible so the dog can be successful. Then gradually increase the difficulty. This skill takes a good deal of practice before the dog is truly reliable. It's also important that you gradually add distractions during training. Through continued practice, he will learn to ignore these distractions and focus on the scent discrimination. Here are some cute trick ideas that revolve around scent discrimination. Have your dog choose your wallet or car keys from among several other people's.
Good. Can you go find my keys? Okay, go find them. Wow, that was great.
Pick a hand, any hand.
Here are some pointers for this cute trick. Make sure your dog learns to scent both hands before encouraging him to paw the hand that holds the treat. If he picks the wrong hand, show him it's empty and then start again. For a bigger challenge, create a doggy version of the shell game. Choose several identical shells, place a treat under one, and shuffle them around. Remember to praise your dog for sniffing the shells before indicating where the treat is with his paw. Learning to crawl. Here's another simple but cute trick. We'll be teaching the dog to keep his whole body on the ground while moving forward in an army crawl fashion. This is very easy to teach when you use something like a long dowel because it saves us from a lot of bending over. To begin, tell your dog to lay down and hold the tip of the dowel near the ground in front of him. Use your touch command. Click and reward each time he touches the tip of the dowel with his nose. Gradually, start making him stretch a bit further in order to touch it. Continue to click and reward. At some point, the dowel will be just a little too far from the dog's nose, and he'll have to creep forward an inch or so to be able to make contact. Select performances to click and reward where the dog moves forward without standing or putting his rump up. Gradually make the dog creep forward more and more. As you continue training, click for improved crawling with less emphasis on him actually making contact with the dowel. Fade away the use of the touch command. Through practice, the dog will learn it is the crawling you are rewarding, not the touch. When he can easily crawl 1 or 2 feet forward, add a new command, such as crawl or be a snake. Gradually, you can hold the dowel farther in front, just using it as a kind of focal point. With practice, he'll learn to crawl on command, and you can fade away the use of the dowel. Work on this trick with the following goals in mind. Your dog learns to crawl forward at least 6 feet. He can perform when you are a distance away from him. You can even select for speedier crawling. How low can you go? Let's limbo! As you can see, we have great fun with these tricks. They're sure to give you and your dog hours of delight. Remember to be patient as you teach, practicing each trick step by step. In no time, you'll have a dog that's getting bows and wows everywhere he goes. Perhaps you could see your way to giving me a small allowance. Be warned, y'all. Tail wagging and retrieving can be addictive, but it's so much fun. Tricks are one thing, but eating with a spoon? Ridiculous.
Oui, oui, these tricks are charming, but it is time for my beauty rest.
Hush, puppies.